Hello children, welcome back to the science class. Previous session we have seen light lesson. In light lesson, sources of light, artificial sources of light, properties of light, path of light and pinhole camera, reflection and types of reflection. In this class we are going to see about types of beam of light. Let's see. Types of beam of light. Generally, light is not a single ray, but a bundle of rays which are called as beam of light. A bundle of rays called as beam of light. A light beam can be bundle of parallel rays, convergent rays or divergent rays. Two types of rays. Bundle of rays, parallel rays, two types, convergent rays and divergent rays. Let us look at the light coming from the sun. The rays of sunlight are parallel. The hand light of headlight of car gives parallel rays. Look at the rays of light coming out of a candle. Light rays go in all directions from the candle fire. These rays are divergent. Light rays from a flashlight is also divergent. Using lenses we can converge light rays, and using lens you can focus sunlight at a point. That's what are making the light rays to coverage. Speed of light. When lighting a bulb in a dark room, light spreads the whole room quickly. This is because the light travels very fast. The light travels very fast and light always coming straight line. Light travels 3 lakh kilometers per second in air or vacuum. In theory, nothing can travel faster than light. So light spreads the whole room quickly. This is because the light travels very fast. Interaction of light with matter. Take a piece of clear glass, a paper and a metal sheet. Shine a light from one side of each object and see if the light penetrates on the other side. Readily we can see light enters and becomes out of the other end of clear glass, whereas the light is bright dim through a paper. Light does not pass through metal sheet. Depending upon permeability, materials can be classified into 3 categories: transparent material, translucent material and opaque material. Light is a 3 types known as transparent material, translucent material and opaque material. First we will see transparent material. Materials that allow light to pass through completely are known as transparent material. Materials that allow light to pass through completely are known as transparent material. Examples of transparent materials are eyeglasses, clear drinking glass, clear water, face glasses used in buses. These are examples of transparent material. Next, translucent material. Objects that allow light to pass through partially are called translucent material. Objects that allow light to pass through partially called translucent material. For example, we can't see the image of someone Who stands behind a rough window glass? Because it allows only a part of light from the person. So we can't see clearly. So rough surface is an example of translucent material. Opaque material. Materials that are not able to allow light to pass through are called opaque objects. That means opaque material. Materials that are not able to allow light to pass through are called opaque material. For example, wall, thick cardboard, stone, bench, book, etc. These are examples of opaque material. Next, shadows. How are shadows formed? As we saw earlier, light is abstracted by certain materials. Light travels in a straight line. Already we know that. Hence, it can't go around such objects. That is why we see shadow. Shadow is always against opposite side of light source. Shadow is always against opposite side of light sources. It is caused by opaque objects that stop light from propagating. Already we know that opaque object. Opaque means materials that are not able to allow light to pass through is called opaque. So that's why shadow will form. Parts of shadow. When an opaque object is placed in the path of light from a point source, a uniform dark shadow will appear on the screen. When an opaque object is placed in the path of light from a point source, a uniform dark shadow will appear on the screen. This shadow is called as umbra. When an opaque object is placed in the path of light coming from a both source of light, a small umbra will appear on the screen and an illuminated shadow area appear around umbra. This illuminated shadow or area is called as penumbra. The penumbra always surrounds the umbra. The umbra is the darkest part of a shadow. In this part, light rays are completely prevented by the opaque object. The light shadow of shadow is the penumbra. The lighter shadow of shadow is the penumbra. Next, properties of shadow. All objects do not form shadows. All objects do not form shadows. Only opaque objects form shadows. Only opaque objects form shadows. Shadows will be formed in the opposite side of light source. These points already we know that. All objects do not form shadows. Only opaque objects form shadows. And shadows will form in the opposite side of light source. It cannot be determined the characteristics of an object by its shadow. The shadow will be always darker, whatever may be the color of light rays. Light source opaque objects are shadow. All are in a straight line. The size of shadow depends upon the distance between light source and object and the distance between object and the screen. These are the properties of shadow. Eclipse. An eclipse is an incident when an astronomical object is partially are fully obscured due to the placement of another astronomical object in the presence of light. Thus, solar and lunar eclipses are occurring that are due to the property of light known as the rectilinear propagation of light. So, eclipse two types formed: solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. First, solar eclipse. Solar eclipse occurs when the moon arises between the sun and the earth. The sun and the earth. The solar eclipse occurs when the moon arrives between the sun and the earth. The shadow of the moon appears on the earth at A as shown in the picture. Hence, those who are at the region A are unable to see the sun instantly. This is solar eclipse. But those who are at the region B and C are able to see the sun partially. So, this is the solar eclipse picture. Next, lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse occurs when the earth comes between the sun and the moon. But solar eclipse occurs when the moon arrives between the sun and the earth. But lunar eclipse when the earth comes between the sun and the moon. The earth prevents light coming from the sun and makes shadow on the moon. This is lunar eclipse. Plane mirror and reflection. A polished or smooth surface like glass which forms image by reflection is known as mirror. A plane mirror is a mirror with a flat reflective surface. The plane mirror makes an image of objects in front of it. So the image is upright. See the picture. One boy seeing his face on plane mirror. The image is upright. The image and the object are the same size, and the image is virtual image. Next, the image is laterally inverted. The boy's left hand is his image's right hand, and we can determine the position of an object's image on drawing light rays. Dotted lines. The distance of the object from the mirror is equal to the distance of the image from the mirror. So, object and mirror image are equal, A equal to B. And the ray of light AO, see the second picture. The ray of light AO from the boy head strikes the mirror at point O. So, AO is called the incident ray, AO. Next, the incident ray makes an angle of incident, I, with the perpendicular line ON. Next, the light ray OA strikes the surface and is reflected as OE. OE called as the reflected ray. AO is called incident ray and OE called reflected ray. This ray makes an angle of reflection or with normal. The line ON perpendicular to the surface is known as the normal. Next, real and virtual images. We have seen images being formed in a pinhole camera and a mirror. Can we see what is different in both of these images? First, the image of the pinhole camera was formed on a screen, while the image made by the mirror is not obtained on a screen. So, the image is that are obtained on a screen are called real image. The images that are obtained on a screen are called real image, and that which cannot be obtained on a screen, that is called virtual image. Real image means the image obtained on a screen, but virtual image, the image can't obtain on a screen. Also notice that the image on pinhole camera was upside down, while the mirror image was upright. Color of sunlight. Light is a form of energy in the form of wave that stimulate the retina of our eyes. Visible light is a spectrum of a number of waves with different wavelength range from 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. The band of visible light is VIBGYOR. V is violet, I denoted indigo, B denoted as blue, G denoted as green, Y denoted as yellow, O denoted as orange, and red denoted as R denoted as red. Violet color has shorter wavelength and red color has longer wavelength. When light of particular wavelength strikes the retina of eyes or brain, prescribes that specific color. When all colors of visible light strikes the retina of eyes and the same time, our brain perceives white. Prism. What is prism? A prism is an object made up of a transparent material. Prism is a transparent material like glass or plastic that has at least two flat surfaces that from an actual angle less than 90 degrees. When white light is passed through a prism, as on the figure, the color of rainbow emerges from the prism. Newton disk. Newton suggested a process of mixing different colors to make white color by setting an arrangement as on the figure. Newton disk is a cardboard disk with 7 equal sectors colored red, yellow, orange, green, blue, indigo, and violet. When the disk turned quickly, the retina receives the sensation of the spectrum simultaneously and disk appears. We know that white shirt will reflect white light, and we have seen that white light consists of different colors. When we look at the white shirt through the yellow gluten paper, we see its yellow color. So from this we can say that the yellow gluten paper did not allow any other color except yellow to pass through. Similarly, we conclude that red color and other colors, blue allows only the blue light, red allows only red, green allows only green, like this. Last one, synthesis of color. Synthesis of color is the method of creating color by mixing various propagation of 2 or 3 distinct colors of light. These distinct colors are red, green, and blue, called primary colors. Primary colors are red, green, and blue. Equal proportion of 2 primary color create a secondary color. Magenta, cyan and yellow are called secondary color. So equal proportion of all 3 primary color create white. 1 red plus blue plus green gives white, and red and blue gives magenta. Blue plus green gives cyan, and green plus red gives yellow. This is the synthesis of color. Thank you children. We have completed light lesson. Next session we will see the next lesson. Thank you.